Hey everybody, it's Nancy Hassel here from American Pet Professionals and Dana Humphrey from WhitegatePR. So today we're talking all about SuperZoo. SuperZoo in Las Vegas is taking place July 24th through July 26th. And we're going to talk about gearing up for SuperZoo, bringing press to your booth, or how to be press ready. So I'm really excited to have Dana here. Okay, so Dana, since you've been attending SuperZoo the entire time the show's been happening for many years now, tell me, what would you suggest is the most important thing that vendors that have booths at SuperZoo can do to gear up for the show?
Sure. Well, with just a couple weeks to go, something that's really important to do is to register for the new product showcase. That is a big area that buyers and media check out from the very beginning. So it's a big section where they have new products for dogs, cats, small.
So basically, you're saying to register your new products in the new product showcase, right? And so that could be any new product. Even if you're a veteran vendor there, if you have a brand new product, you should register it, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And so do you know how somebody goes about and does that as a vendor?
You just do it through the SuperZoo website. I think you can sign up for several categories. There's a number of different deadlines for that, so I would definitely get on that if you haven't registered yet, and definitely make sure that you get your products over into the new product showcase while you're at the show. It's the first thing that you want to do when you're setting up your booth before you put up you take out your pallet or set up your shelving. You just want to make sure that you have that settled, because that's going to be a big driver back to your booth. And you want to make sure you have your booth number and your business cards also in that new product showcase display.
Yeah, it's really important because that's one of the first areas that I go to, and many retailers and the media go to the new product showcase to look to see what's new and what interests them. So if you don't have your booth number or business card there, you should also have somebody go check it throughout the show, because people are visiting that the whole time. So make sure you
Yeah.
have enough supplied, right, for that.
Yep, yeah, keep that fulfilled. Yeah, and it can be helpful to have a little business card holder there and put your business cards in, so then people
Yep.
can follow up with you.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic tip. And I think it's a missed tip that a lot of people don't always put their new products in there. They forget to do it. So that's definitely a great tip. You were saying something also about the media list, right? And then
Yep.
you go ahead. So tell me that again.
Yeah, so everyone that is a vendor is privy to the media list, the registered media list. It has about 200 people on it. And you just reach out to Carly Boathouse from SuperZoo, and she will email that to you. So you'll get a nice spreadsheet with everyone's phone number, email, name, and which media outlet they're from, so that you can reach out to them in advance and invite them to come stop by your booth. They ask that you only use that media list, once before the show and once after to follow up, so that people don't get bombarded. So
Hmm.
it's nice to keep that. But it's really good to reach out personally, I would say, to each person on that list, inviting them to come by. You might want to ask the media if there's a certain time that works for them. Or you can always have a special event. Maybe it's a press conference or some kind of, happy hour or brunch that you can offer to get people all there at once.
What would you suggest to help the vendors that are at the show to be present to buyers and media walking by? What are some ideas that you think of?
Yeah, you definitely want to have a conversation starter, right? You all know the booth is when you walk by and people are just, on their phones or sitting down. Maybe they're sitting in a chair, crossing their arms, and they're not very approachable. If you have some kind of talking piece, it's going to be a way that you can engage someone. So it could be an adoptable pet in your booth. It could be a famous dog that you're going to have. You could still have time to coordinate. Just a quick example, Treatables is going to be having Tater Tot, a famous pit bull from Pitbulls and Parolees, at their booth for photo op. So that's a great conversation starter, right? As people are walking by, hey, have you met Tater Tot? it's a great way to kind of get people's attention. Another idea is Einstein Pets is actually going to have a full-size mascot of their in a costume.
That's
So
cool.
that's always fun to have kind of a mascot walking around. It's great for a photo op, and it's a really easy ask to say to someone, hey, do you want to come and pose for a photo op? And then you can start the conversation of, hey, have you seen our treats? Hey, would you like to buy them? So you want to have an engagement point. Maybe it's a raffle. Maybe it's something that's an easy ask that you can say, hey, come on in and say hello to my, furry creature that we have. Everyone's missing their pets, so it's a great way to engage with people.
Yeah, definitely. I love the Kelly's booth, Einstein Pets. I'm definitely going to see that. But and Tater Tot, of course, I'll visit Tater Tot. But yeah, it's we used to call them in the trade show world booth babes. So how can you be your own booth babe, or how can you attract people over? So those are great tips. So what can you tell me that you've seen over the years at SuperZoo or at Global that frankly vendors could have done better?
I really think that the engaging part is a huge piece. And so if you're a little bit, if you're a solopreneur and it's just you, yourself, and you, maybe you want to hire someone. Maybe you don't have a ton of money. Maybe you can hire someone locally, even someone on Craigslist that lives in Vegas.
Yeah.
If you don't have a really outgoing, friendly personality, find someone that can complement you with that, and have them there. And also, I do think that follow-up is a huge, important piece. So you have to be engaging and get them in that moment while they're there. And you also have to make sure that you capture the conversation so that if a buyer's walking by maybe quickly on their way to another meeting and they see your product, they think it's interesting, they give you their business card real quick and they say, hey, why don't you send me more information on, that particular product? Don't just get excited and say, oh, great, and throw it in your pile of business cards.
Right.
What I really recommend is bringing a notebook, just a regular size notebook like this. And then when you get the business card, you just take it, bring a stapler, and you just staple it right into your notebook. And then you can right there, just write notes right away, real quick.
Yeah.
So then the next person's coming by and you can do the same process for them so that everyone in the booth is trained to write down the conversation so you're prepared for follow-up. Because after an 8-hour day, let's see, the show's from 9 to 5, you have a lot of conversations, and a really important conversation could have been 25 seconds long, but don't just assume you're going to remember, because after a few drinks at the House of Blues later on, and then another 200 conversations tomorrow, it really gets crazy. So then you can really sit down the following week and go through and say, oh, yes, this person specifically wanted that information, instead of just sending a blanket follow-up to everyone saying, oh, here's our price list, whatever. If you can be very specific, it'll help you.
Yeah, and the other that is awesome. I love to see the notebooks, and I love to see vendors that do that because it keeps them organized. Another thing that they can do is, if you have a moment to write down that 25-second conversation, oh my God, they said they're in New York City or they're in LA or wherever they are, and they don't have any products like that, write that down next to it on the notes where you staple the card, because that'll jog your memory and say, hey, at SuperZoo, and they will be impressed when they get that email that you actually remembered those details. So that notebook is a huge tip and super important, and I love that. Okay, so what is the number one question that you get from clients that are attending the show?
I do get a lot of questions about press kits and press releases and how many they should prepare. As there are about 200 media people at the show, I do recommend, not going overboard, not going crazy. I usually recommend having about 40 press kits or 40 press releases available. That's usually enough for the media room. You want to have them printed out in advance. I usually print the logo in color so it kind of pops, and do a double-sided, so it's just a one-pager. And then you have all the information on there. You have the contact information, you have your logo, your booth number, what's new that you're having, maybe some show specials, and it's all right there. You can put them in the media room. You can go the day before on Monday and put those in there. That's at the entrance of the show, and you have access to that as a vendor. But don't go crazy. You don't have to make 1 million media kits. You don't have to print 1,000 press releases. Usually people are going to want it in a digital form anyway, so you can have it handy, and then they might know to ask you to email it to them.
Right.
So another kind of trick with that is I'll copy and paste the press release into a notes section on my iPhone, so that when someone asks for that, I can email it to them on the spot, or again,
Right.
I'll take a note for that and say, okay, so-and-so from XYZ Magazine wanted this press release, and make sure that they get it.
That's a great tip, having it in your phone. And I have to say, one of the questions that I get is, should I have a thumb drive? And I personally don't like the thumb drives. I think it's a waste of money. I know a lot of people make really cute branding, their logos on, it's the shape of a bone or whatever. I think it's a complete waste of money. I think they get thrown out. I like to take the paper, and as a press person walking through the press room, I'm going to be more interested in stuff that, draws my attention. And I know people don't have the budget all the time, but something with a freebie is always good. The press loves to take a freebie. I know some people really go overboard with the freebie, like they'll give a full-size product. You don't have to do that. You could do a sample, a couple of dog treats, whatever is your product. But again, I don't like the thumb drives, and I don't like, sometimes just the same old, same old. You have to make it stand out a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the thumb drives usually cost you about $7 each.
Yeah.
So by the time you do that, I mean, you could give away your product and attach it to a press release, and then they actually have what you make, and
Right.
they're not just taking the thumb drive to reuse for their personal files. So
Right. That's what happens. I mean, I think, a couple of people have asked me that. All right. So SuperZoo is a business-to-business trade show, which most of us know, but some people might not know watching. And it's an event for retailers, buyers, and media to attend. So it's more of a professional event. But vendors can still have fun. I mean, we are in the pet industry. It's dogs and cats, puppies, people. So what is the thing that you have seen at SuperZoo at a booth, or at Global or any other trade show, that really stands out in your mind, that is fun, that is different, that, you should encourage people to do?
Well, I mean, SuperZoo is in Las Vegas. It's a huge party. There's a lot of music, a lot of alcohol going on all day long, every day at the show. Embracing the party atmosphere is something fun that some companies do. I know that something I always look forward to is seeing the Tuffy's booth, because they usually have a DJ party, and the DJ actually dyes his hair as cheetah print. So he's super recognizable. I even saw him, in
That's
Zoo
funny.
Market, Italy. Whenever I see him walking around, I know, oh, there's the Tuffy's DJ. He's
Right.
getting ready for their party or whatever. So it's good to have something that's consistent, that you can do every time. It can be fun to have some kind of happy hour at your booth, or maybe mimosas, or some kind of attraction that plays in with the Vegas vibe.
Yeah, I've already gotten a couple of happy hour invites, and I'm trying to figure out my schedule if I can go to those. I'm like, yes, another one. But yeah, that's definitely true. The cheetah thing is hysterical. I'm trying to think, there was somebody else that I saw that is like that you see a lot at the trade shows, that you recognize that's who they are. That's the brand they're with. And I think it's an easy, fun way to do something. Maybe I should dye some of my hair pink, even though I'm not
There you go.
gonna have a booth. Okay, so what is your favorite thing about attending SuperZoo?
I love how fun it is. It's like a big reunion, just running into all the pet people, meeting new people. I love being part of the conversation on social media as well. It's so great to, use like hashtag SuperZoo or SuperZoo tweet, and just kind of like be in the loop of like what's happening at the show. So I love to post pictures and tag them, and I love to see like what other people are doing. And I might even run over real quick and say, oh, wow, there's a, cooking demo going on in aisle 400. Let me go check it out real quick. So that it's action packed. There's so much going on, and I love seeing part of the action by following it on social media. Yeah,
and I think the hashtag is a big deal on Twitter and on Instagram, because you're going to find people that maybe you didn't see while you were at the show, or connect with people or find out their booth number and then go see them, because maybe you were running through the aisles and you didn't get to see them, but then you go and search out, maybe on your lunch break or something, or late at night, and then you'll say, oh, tomorrow I want to notate that. Okay, so we kind of talked about this before, but since SuperZoo is so big now, what would you tell your audience to be press ready at their booth? Not necessarily in the press room, but to be at their booth press ready.
Yep. I would say a couple things with the way that SuperZoo is set up. It's very far to get any kind of snack or water. So you want to make sure you have a cooler, have some cold water at your booth, stay hydrated. And so that you're not hangry, so that you bring whatever you need, nuts, fruits, snacks, so that you are able to stay at your booth. Coffee, caffeine, whatever keeps you running, try to have that prepared at your booth, so you're not having to run an hour into Mandalay Bay, be in line for an hour, and miss 3 hours of media that are at your booth. But you really want to be ready. You want to be feel good, feel present, be ready to smile and talk to someone that wants to know about your company. And something that you can look out for is the badges. So the way that SuperZoo does the badges is it actually will tell you right on the badge, it's color coded by buyer, visitor, media. So whenever you see the media badge, maybe you want to have a distinguished person at your booth. So if you have 3 people within your booth, maybe there's one person that whenever you see the media badge, they're going to talk to them. And so someone else in the booth could even take the initiative and say, oh, wow, I see you're a member of the media. I'd love to introduce you to Julie, or, however the flow goes. But kind of having that system in your own booth could be really helpful, so that the media don't get bored and leave, or feel like you're too busy to talk to them, because that could be a really important conversation that you have. Also, you want to look out for, there are like exhibitor guests. You don't want to spend your whole time chatting with them, because they're probably just some kind of guest of someone.
That's true.
So you kind of want to look out for those signals on the badges.
So what do you think that the media is looking for when walking the show floor?
Again, it's all up this glazed over feeling, being engaging. I can't say how important it is, because as you're walking around, there's thousands of booths. Mm-hmm. I think there's 540 new vendors this year. There's just a lot. There's a lot going on. So the more that you can be, just buttoned up with your pitch, be engaging, practice what you're going to say, know what you're going to say to people, and just being as engaging and friendly and happy as possible, the media are going to respond to that, and they're going to look out for you. If you're grumpy and frowning, they're just going to pass by, even if they have an appointment with you.
Yeah. I have to say, last year, I know a couple of booths, or this past year at Global, they had enough people there that they could do the booths in shifts, which I thought was a really great idea. So from, say, 9 to 1, there was somebody that was there for 4 hours, really engaged, really upbeat, and then they left to go take a break. And then somebody else came in from 1 to 5 or 1 to 6 at Global. And it really helped with the booth, because, if you have the budget to spend, like you were saying before, to hire a few extra people or bring a few of your salespeople, that will really help break up the day. And then you or your staff will not be as exhausted from standing there, because it's 9 o'clock, but most people get there at 8 o'clock. And a lot of times they're leaving a little after 5. And there's networking events and dinners and all of that. So I really thought the shifts was a genius idea that people were doing that, because not everybody can, but if you can.
Yeah, the shifts are awesome, because it's like it's almost like a sporting event. It's like you need your subs.
Yeah. And your subs.
And the day doesn't end at 5. Just because the show's over. A lot of times, the real business happens over dinner or drinks that night. Yeah. So you also want to be planning, maybe make some dinner reservations and have any key conversations you have that day. Be ready to say, hey, you know what? We have a 7 o'clock reservation at, whatever sushi place. We'd love to invite you. Yeah. That might be where you close your deal. Right. So, giving yourself time. 9 to 1, go take a little nap, take a little break, and then come back and get ready for,
the
the
rest of the
night
day.
shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And try not to drink too much.
Yes.
It's just a tip because you don't want to be exhausted the next day. So, any insider press tips for vendors that we didn't cover?
Well, one other thing that is just a Dana tip, not so much a press tip, is to wear flats. These are my example of some kind of professional flats that I'm going to be wearing one of the days. You don't want to wear the same shoes all 3 days. You want to change it up so your feet have a different position going on. But even if you think you're going to be in the booth all day, you're going to be on your feet the whole time. There will be walking going on. So make sure you have comfortable footwear. I know a lot of women start out the day with the big heels on and then they end up in flip-flops. Maybe try just going for middle ground from the, just forget the heels. It's not going to serve you well.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
You can wear the heels later that night if you really want to in Vegas, but not during the day.
Yeah, and you're better off with a cute professional flat than a flip-flop anyway. So, so keep that in mind. It is a big day on your feet.
I think that's a great tip. And also bring Band-Aids, because even if you have your most comfortable shoes, I always have Band-Aids in my bag because, and that could be something else. I think that, I forget who it was, one year, it was at a different show, but they were handing out little first aid kits, which I thought was genius with all their marketing materials in there. So if you have time to put any of that together for SuperZoo, it's a great thing to give out. There was chapstick and mints and Band-Aids and like sunscreen and bug spray or something like that. It was a little Ziploc bag, and I thought that was a fantastic idea. I wish somebody would put that in the goodie bags, but because you get a blister and then you're still walking around, and then you got a gross blister on your foot. So try to prepare for that.
And it is Las Vegas in Nevada in July, so it is hot, very, very hot. And even though you will be spending most of the day in Mandalay Bay, in the convention center with a lot of AC. If you're staying at Luxor, if you're staying somewhere down the street, keep in mind that you're going to be maybe walking to the show that morning, and it's going to be over 100 degrees.
Yeah, and actually, even inside, it's quite a long walk if you get dropped off at the front door to get to the convention center. It's not short. I have one tip that I always see that happens at every show I go to. People run out of business cards and they run out of brochures. They underestimate. True. Always order like 20% more than you think, because it's not going to go to waste, especially if it's business cards or brochures about your products. I can't tell you how many times I've been to the big shows and they completely have run out of business cards and they don't have anything. Or make sure you get your business cards printed properly with your proper, I know some people are new there and they don't have their new cards, but you see people writing down and scribbling their information on a card, crossing something out. So really try to do it, ahead of time. That's one thing that I always tell everybody. So Dana, where can people find more information about you and WhitegatePR?
Sure. You can check out our website. It's WhitegatePR.com. You can also check us out on social media. We're on Facebook. On Twitter, it's at Dana K. Humphrey. And on Instagram, it's the same.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much. And if you guys have any other additional questions, you can always post them in the comment section below after the live broadcast, and we will answer them for you. Yes. And we're going to give some insider information right now that nobody else knows. You ready, Dana? Woo,
I'm ready.
So our show, NYC Retails and Sales Pet Expo 2018. Are you guys ready? Write down the day, drum roll, May 1st, 2018. And that's a Tuesday. We're really excited about it. So it'll be our sixth show.
This is our first announcement. So thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, it's not even on our website yet. So go to retailsandsalespetexpo.com for more information, but it'll be updated soon, Tuesday, May 1st, 2018. And before that, we'll see everybody at SuperZoo in Vegas in a couple of weeks. All right, guys, thanks, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Thanks, Dana.
Bye.